guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel or to my IGTV, depending on where you're watching this. This video is going to be uploaded to both. Thank you guys so much for coming back and watching my videos. I really appreciate it. I just kind of felt inspired today to sit down and do a general message for the collective as we go into the month of June. It's not something that I typically do on my channels, just because, I don't know, I'm just posting other things. Sometimes I do these, but just today and in light of everything that's been going on in the world, I thought it could be really beneficial for all of us if maybe we could get a little bit of a sense of what to expect as we go into the next month, and what guidance or advice that we really need to lean into so that we can get the best results for ourselves and as a collective toward navigating whatever situations come our way. So, I know that there's been a lot of chaos and craziness happening in the world right now. I know that those things have been really deeply impacting me emotionally, mentally, physically. Like, I can't even tell you guys how anxious I felt over the course of the last few days. It's been really hard, and I know that a lot of you have been feeling the same exact way that I've been feeling. So I'm hopeful that today's message can just bring a little bit of comfort to you all and just a little bit of practical guidance and advice that can maybe help, okay? So I want to start off by sharing the two decks that I'm going to be working with for today's message. So we're going to keep it really simple. I'm going to be working with the Moonology Oracle cards, and then I'm also going to be working with the Rider Waite. So I'm going to start with the Moonology card, and we're going to take a look at kind of the overall energy that I'm seeing influencing us for the collective for the month of June in total. So what we got for that was the full moon in Libra, which says a win-win outcome is forecast. I gotta tell you guys, when this card came out, I was actually feeling really relieved because for me, and I know for a lot of you guys too, it just feels like tensions are running so high right now, and they are. There's just so much chaotic energy happening out there for all of us and for the collective. So to see that a win-win outcome is forecast as we go into the month of June, just coming off of all of this stuff, it feels really restorative to me. I'm feeling really hopeful seeing this, and I hope that you guys are too. So just a couple things I want to highlight in the message of this card. So we know full moons are about climaxes and conclusions, right? So it seems like something is coming to a conclusion or something is coming to its peak energy as we navigate through the month of June. And Libra specifically, this is all about our love energy, right? And I always think about love and relationships with the Libra card, thinking of that balance, almost like the Justice card in the tarot, balancing the scales of justice. So there's a real emphasis on the relationships and the partnerships that are in your life in the month of June, and really thinking about the status of these relationships. So this means work, this means love, this means friends, any sort of family. There's a huge emphasis and a need for us to kind of evaluate our relationships and our partnerships in the month of June and really kind of decide, do they align with our values? Do they align with us? Are we able to be our true authentic selves with whoever these people are that we have in our lives? And if not, what do we need to do about it, right? I also think another message that I'm getting with this card with Libra is to really try, when it comes to your relationships and your partnerships, to see the other person through the eyes of love, right? Really open up your heart space and really lead with your heart when it comes to romantic relationships or any relationship, really. But I feel like this is a message that we're going to get a better result, especially when we're having differing opinions. And there's a lot of differing opinions going on out there right now. So if we can really try to be open-hearted with one another and try to look at each other through a more compassionate lens, we're going to get a much better result. And those scales of justice, or those balancing scales, or whatever you want to call them, they're going to feel more even keeled as we go through the month. If you think about it, anytime that you've had a conversation with somebody who has tried to force their opinion on you, or who has not been open to hearing what you had to say, has not been open-hearted with you, it's imbalanced, right? You don't feel comfortable to speak up. So think about how you as a person can lead with your heart and really be open with your heart to understanding others. Really putting that energy out is going to get the best result for all of us as a collective, okay? I also, just as I was mentioning earlier with this card, it's like the Justice card from the tarot. I think of it's the symbol of Libra, but to me, I think of the scales of justice being balanced was just something personal that I was getting from this card. And I think that, that is also something that many of us are looking for, especially coming off of the events of this most recent week that we've just come out of, right? So I feel like in the month of June, we're going to start to see, you know, some leveling out when it comes to the justice system, some things going on in our country as a collective. And if you're in the US, that we know for a long time have not been fair, have not been working for everybody, right? So again, like I'm just seeing a lot of hope and I'm actually feeling really inspired seeing this as our overall energy influencing the collective in the month of June. So hopefully you guys feel the same when you see this. So I want to get into some messages that we have from tarot as well. So I want to just also highlight that there is, you know, just collectively with the messages from tarot, an emphasis on, again, on love, taking care of yourself and others, as well as living in your truth. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first card, which is the Empress. So what I'm really getting from the Empress energy, again, this is a message like, how are you taking care of yourself in the month of June? How are you nurturing yourself? How are you nurturing your own emotions, your own feelings, your own thoughts? How are you nurturing your creative endeavors? And also, how are you nurturing and taking care of those that are around you, right? I feel like with the Empress energy too, like one thing that I always think about with the Empress is like, this is somebody who is a leader in a lot of ways, right? She's like the divine feminine, but she's just that, she's feminine. So I want you guys to think about, as you navigate situations in the month of June, how can you take a more feminine leadership approach? Okay, so what do you think that means? To me, when I think of taking a more feminine leadership role, it's not necessarily going in like guns blazing, really blunt with my words, coming in and just ready to like, you know, duke it out with someone, or, you know, be really in that more masculine, like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? In that more masculine kind of like get it done type of energy, more abrupt kind of energy. So with this, I want you guys to really think about, again, like, I think if you're navigating, remember the overall energy has to do with our relationships. So think about how you can inspire others through taking a more feminine approach to a situation, right? You don't necessarily have to go in like ready to start a war. Like if you're in an argument with someone, again, like lead through your heart. Lead through the heart, be open-hearted, don't take any crap off of anybody. This isn't about just like leaning back and just letting someone walk all over you. You don't have to take that, but you can, you know, stand up for yourself and get your point across in a way that comes across more nurturing, more healing to others, okay? Influencing through softness. You know, like it's interesting too, because like in my day job, I work with a lot of people, and there are some people that need that more like direct, blunt, this is what we need to do, this is what you need to do, like whatever, like I'm rambling, but you guys get what I'm saying. There's a lot of people that need that more kind of forceful energy brought to them when you're trying to get a result. But I've also noticed, just through my experience in working with people, that there's a lot of people out there that don't respond well to that. And when you come in and you take like a little softer hand, if you really ask questions, try to understand where they're actually coming from, you know what I mean? You actually can get a much better result out of certain people that respond better to that, right? Because they feel more nurtured, they feel more heard, they feel like better taken care of in that moment by you. They feel safer with you to be able to express how they feel, right? So I guess I say all that to say, feminine leadership, think of how you can show up in that way when you're dealing with others, especially in your relationships, okay? So the next message that we have is the Fool. So I was watching my friend Erica. She also did a message for the month of June. I'm gonna link hers down below as well, but I'm pretty sure she got the Fool in hers. So that's kind of interesting. It popped up in both of ours. So for those of us that know tarot, we know the Fool energy is all about new beginnings. It's all about taking a leap of faith, not really caring what others think, just diving into something, right? No questions asked. So I'm seeing that in the month of June. This is a message just to be brave, right? Be brave to try something new. Be brave to try something different. Be brave to look at something through that more beginner's lens, right? And take the leap of faith and trust that, you know what, I don't know a lot about this right now, or I'm not super experienced with this topic or this thing that I'm doing right now, but I'm gonna take a leap of faith and trust because this is something that feels authentic to me, right? I also think about the Fool as like, he doesn't really give a crap about what anyone thinks, right? He's literally about to jump off this cliff because he's not paying attention. He's just like living his best life, super carefree. He's got his dog there with him. He doesn't care, right? He doesn't care what anybody thinks about him. And so I think for you guys, like, and for myself, even what I'm getting is like, June is about living in your truth. June is about doing things that feel truly authentic to you. And not being afraid to take the leap of faith and say, you know what, this is me. This is how I feel. This is my viewpoint, right? But making sure that we're doing it in that more, heartfelt, nurturing, feminine type of way, if that makes sense. So I would really be thinking about in the month of June, if you're in a space where you're actually living in your truth or not. And if you're not living in your truth, how can you challenge yourself to take that first step toward doing that? All right. So one more message for you guys, and then I'll close it out with my final thoughts. So we have the 10 of Cups. So as we know, the 10 of Cups is that happy, lovely, loving family, right? So it's kind of funny. Again, we have that full moon in Libra. This is all about our relationships. I feel like in the month of June, for many of us, there's a need to focus on the family. There's a need to focus on the home. I've been seeing a lot of different videos like this. I linked one in my IG story recently from Leo King, who is an astrologer that I follow here on Instagram and YouTube. You guys should totally check it out. But he talked a lot in that video about taking care of what's happening in your own four walls, right? And healing. So is there healing that's needed within yourself in the month of June? Is there healing that's needed in your own family unit in the month of June? Right? Those are all things that need our attention. I also think about how you guys can support your family in the month of June, or in turn, if you're finding that you need support, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for it if you need it, right? It's so important, whether it's your immediate family, your blood related family, or if you have friends that you think of as your family, you need to make sure that you're nurturing those relationships and supporting one another and making sure that if you need something, you can ask. If they need something, they can ask. Again, really fostering that open-heartedness with relationships, that compassionate energy. Okay? So all in all, I kind of just wanted to close it out by saying that I think in the month of June, there's a real need, what I'm feeling based off what I'm seeing with the cards, there's a real need for us to make sure that we are taking a compassionate approach when dealing with others, that we're really seeking to understand, whether we're talking about an opinion or a difference of opinion or whatever it is, like we need to really make sure that we're seeking to understand and that we're going into the situation with an open heart, looking at another person through compassion and treating them with compassion is going to get us a much better result than if we go in guns blazing, trying to force somebody to understand our side of something, right? So I think for us, going in with that softer hand as a collective, living in our truth, making sure that we're taking care of our own selves and our own family units, that is key, because we're not going to be able to affect bigger changes if the changes within ourselves and the changes within the people that we surround ourselves with, our relationships, our family unit, our home unit, are messed up, right? So I feel like that's a huge emphasis. A time for healing here on the bottom of the deck of the Moonology card, right? So take this month in June to really reflect on those things and see where you need to heal. Do you need to heal something within yourself? Is there something that you've been avoiding doing for a really long time that you need to do that's going to help to better yourself, right? Is there a certain relationship that you need to repair? Is there a certain conversation you need to have? Think of the month of June as a time to heal and really focus on nurturing your relationships. And remember, lead with your heart, not with meanness. I don't know. So anyways, I hope that this was helpful to you guys. Please leave me a comment down below. Let me know how this resonates for you, what thoughts you have. I'm really curious, and I will talk to you guys later.